If you own a business, it can feel like you are constantly chasing leads. One reason you might feel that way is because you are literally chasing after them, like the Dark Riders hunting down Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. Except, instead of swords and horses, you are using a much less threatening tool, though just as ineffective in this case: trends. In this video, I want to demystify why chasing trends hasn't worked for most local businesses. If you feel like you're constantly changing tactics and nothing is happening, or you're spending 2 weeks learning new skills just to never use them again, this video is for you. Hey everyone, my name's Skylar Barnhart. I've spent the last 8 years helping local businesses market their services. I run an agency that does $200,000 in annual revenue, and I am a huge nerd. To me, business is like a video game, and that means someone else has probably already beaten it and can tell us how they did it. My goal is to make your journey easier than mine has been. So what's a trend? Well, for the purpose of this video, a trend is something that is happening on the internet, specifically social media, that has blown up in popularity, but it'll be gone in a few weeks. These are generally easy to spot. It's a fun sound, a certain type of video setup, certain scripts that are copied over and over. I won't name any specifically here because the examples I had in my script have already cycled out of social media, and that's a major point of this video. Now, you can look at a longer time horizon when it comes to trends. The use of social media, the adoption of AI, marketing with content. But we're not looking at those. This isn't a meta-analysis of the digital world, just advice on marketing your business. So we're going to break down the follow the trends advice that influencers and gurus give on the internet, and how it could be hurting your business. Now that we know what trends we're talking about, let's talk about how they work. What makes something trendy? Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anyone is sure. It used to be certain celebrities or icons would wear something, and that trend would be passed down. But with the introduction of the internet, trends and virality are a bit harder to understand. But what we can look at is how things are picked up and become a trend. In order to do this, I like to group the lifespan of a trend into 4 stages. First, something is made. Either a song, a video, meme, or challenge. This list can be anything really, but something is put into existence. Usually it sits around for a very long time and nothing happens. But the second thing that happens is that randomly, thanks to the power of the internet, someone or something picks it up. This could be an influencer or someone with a lot of capital to spread the word. Maybe it's just a killer piece of content. But it's blasted this thing into popularity with hundreds of thousands of views and adopted quickly into pop culture. Think of the trends that you saw in this last year. Maybe you have to dig deep and go back further. Think about like planking or dabbing or just generally memes. Either way, then we enter the third stage. People copy it and copy it and copy it. This can happen incredibly fast. You see one thing that has a ton of views and think, wow, that was really funny. And then tomorrow you see 800 different versions of the exact same format, same music, same angles, same everything, but by someone else. 800 someone else's. Eventually you see it so many times that you're tired of it and you wish it had never existed in the first place. That's when we hit stage 4. People grow tired of it, they no longer watch it, and they scroll right by it, leaving it in the digital history books. Like a high school fling you hope no one brings up during the holidays. That's a trend as we are discussing it. Created, becomes popular, copied, dies. So why doesn't it work in your business? You have seen so many businesses skyrocket off of chasing trends and adopting them early. Surely it's not luck, and you can do it too. Yeah, you can, but most won't. So there are 4 reasons that I would avoid chasing trends, in my experience. This is not a universal truth, but I'm pretty sure I'm not a special snowflake when it comes to getting my ass kicked by business. Those 4 reasons are the lifespan of a trend, the relevance to your trade, skill issues, and what I would like to call the cost of change. Trends, as we've defined them, have a lifespan. A period of time where they are alive and thriving before people get tired of it and want to move on. As we continue in the digital age, that lifespan is getting shorter. It used to be that a trend could last entire years, but now, even the best trends spend less than a month alive. Most die within a few days. So, knowing you have a month, at best, to jump in on a trend and make something worthwhile might show you why this is a bad idea. And that's if you catch the trend before others and have the skills to make it happen and have the time to commit to making it. But you run a business. You can't drop everything the second you see a reliable trend pickup. You have customers to service, phone calls to make, emails to send, invoices to hunt down. It's going to take you a week to even get it on the calendar because you have limited resources, usually time and money. So the chances that everything lines up and it's the most valuable thing you can do with your time this week, that's like trying to complete a deathless Dark Souls run. Someone else can do it, but good luck doing it yourself. For the sake of argument, let's play it out. Monday morning, you're on YouTube Shorts. You see a video that's funny. You like it. It's not trending yet, so you're not going to make that bet. You get through the day, and by the end of it, you see 2 other videos following that format. There's a good chance it's trending now. So you write it down to come up with tomorrow. Since you run a business, you have to carve out some of your week for this, but you know it's worth it, so you spend the rest of the week between tasks preparing to shoot it. Script, recording, editing, uploading, publishing. Your video goes live Friday. Best case scenario, you hit the high of the trend, get a lot of views around it, get some likes because it was worthwhile. Maybe your account or channel grows a bit and you repeat the process next week. Worst case scenario, you made a bad bet. Trend dies before liftoff and you publish a video on Friday to something that never took off. Somewhere in the middle is where you'll probably land. You made a good bet. The trend is around, your video goes out Friday, but the internet is already tiring of this format and waste all the time it took from your week. You have limited resources. The chance that you're even able to get this video out 4 days later before the trend dies is impressive. You might not even get to writing the script until a week later. The lifespan of a trend is just too short for the average business owner to turn around before the chance disappears. On a less depressing note, staying relevant while chasing trends is also difficult. Maybe the internet is going on a binge of trends that aren't related to your service. Sure, creativity goes a long way, and a lot of trends can be flipped for business, but they're not going to be the best. Since your content is, generally speaking, supposed to revolve around your business, how do you follow a hair trend as a plumber? I mean, I can think of a few ways, but are you really going to do those trends? You're not doing yourself any favors by chasing the trends. It's unlikely that those few views and likes are turning into leads and sales anyways. It's hard to keep everything relevant to attract the right audience. And in my experience, if you have to find a creative way to flip the trend every week to your business, you're gonna have a new full-time job. Our third reason is very similar to our fourth reason, but I think it is different enough that it's important we cover it separately. You own a business. That's what makes you a business owner. Generally, that comes with a list of skills that you are good at or need to get good at. Marketing, sales, fulfillment, management, finances, etc. Chasing trends comes with an entirely different set of skills. Identifying trends, conversion to business, scripting, editing, directing, filming, and in some cases, acting. To make things worse, some of these skills change from one trend to the next. Maybe you need to edit something to music this week, or create images for a trend. Maybe it's just trying to get a fun reaction out of someone you know. This skill issue is not about I can't do that. It's about how many skills are you going to learn week after week after week and never use again. There are only so many hours in the day, and relearning skills for a video that's not targeted at your audience is probably not the most effective use of your time. The ROI of these skills are pretty low. Plus, after all of that, we can circle back up to my first reason. Are you even in time for the trends you're trying to hit? It's not like you have time to learn the skills before the trend occurs. You don't know what you don't know. Think of it like trying to go pro in 4 different games at once. Video games or sports, really. You are dedicating your time to learning these skills, but it takes a lot of time to get good at any one of them. Splitting your attention each week into more skills doesn't compound the way you would hope. You're just worse at everything overall. And that is a perfect segue into our fourth reason. If you're enjoying this content, just know I plan to release a video every week. If this has been helpful, consider subscribing so you can continue to build on your marketing skills. Chasing trends has an interesting effect I've noticed in business owners. By watching everything that is cutting edge, they think they have to become cutting edge, use the latest technology, and be the most up-to-date owner on the market. This causes them to do something strange, which I will call a service hop. Basically, they will offer one thing for 3 months, see something new and shiny in their industry, and switch the business over to that offering. It's chasing the trend that is causing this to happen. They launch something, it goes, so they change directions and launch something new. They go through this cycle every 3 months for a year, and they're in the same spot that they were. The business owners who didn't service hop are 1 year ahead of them now, which only increases the issue as our service hopper tries to catch up with the next best thing. This is an issue that, while it's not quite chasing trends, I find to be a real problem that stems from it. You are constantly looking out for trends. You see a lot of the new thing, buy now or suffer marketing, designed to get you to switch from the thing you are doing to something else, while paying someone else for that something else. I may do a whole video on this topic in the future, but for now, let me tell you my story of service hopping in 2025. So at the start of 2025, after about 7 years of marketing experience, I thought it would be a good idea to jump into the coaching and community space. Write a course to help business owners market their service and help them get over that initial overwhelm feeling when they realize they need to learn it themselves. I jumped into this space due to the launching of a new platform, but basically it was a trend. This new thing, buy now or suffer marketing, got me. So we ran a quick and dirty beta program, wrote a course, took feedback, wrote a better course, but I had not been in that space before. I didn't have proof or experience coaching, so with all of our efforts aligned on this trend, we sort of flatlined for 6 months as we created all the assets. Only later to realize that selling coaching is slow and difficult, at least for us. And if the company had just focused on what we had been doing, we would have made a huge step forward this year. So we've jumped back to what we're good and experienced at. Now, I'm sure many of you have experienced a similar start and stop or change of directions, and these aren't bad. They just don't serve your business, especially if you're doing it to chase a trend. Now, that's a lot of down on chasing trends, but I want to make something clear. I do think trends work, and I think they have their place in marketing and business. Following attention is generally the smart thing to do, especially in marketing. I just want you to think critically about what you are chasing and why. You have limited resources as a small business owner. Getting the highest ROI out of your activities should be your goal. If you spend more time building up proper marketing assets and systems and less time chasing trends, you're building for a better tomorrow and a more sustainable system. It's why this video isn't about trends in 2026. I want these videos to be useful in 5 years and continue to provide value long after the trends of today die away. These fundamentals won't change. Even AI, as big as it's getting, hasn't changed the fundamentals of marketing. One last example of a YouTuber I like. Matt Colville, a huge D&D guy, has a series on YouTube called Running the Game. It was published in 2016, almost 10 years ago. Its goal is to teach the fundamentals of running a D&D or tabletop game. It still gets thousands of viewers and helps countless hobbyists get into the space. The value that the fundamentals hold far outweighs the news that was going on at the time or the trends that may have existed when he was making those videos. And that foundational work has allowed him to publish his own game from his own game studio without chasing trends. That's it. Thanks for watching this video.